Today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Two of last week's winners return, but this time they compete in the same division. First, in the littles, our number 3 qualifier, Madison A-Line, takes on number 2 seed, Faith Roper. And the winner of that match will bowl for the Littles Championship today against tournament leader, Hunter Moffett. Then in the bigs, last week's champion, Nick Dishinger, is our number 5 qualifier. He'll bowl against number 4 seed, Anthony Smiga, in the bigs opening match. The winner advances to bowl number 3 qualifier, Aiden Reynolds, making his first appearance on Prodigy today. The winner climbs the ladder to face our number 2 seed and the winner in the girls division last week, Annalise O'Brien. The winner of that semifinal match will bowl for the right to sign the coveted trophy pin against our tournament leader, Tristan Davis. This perennial finalist will look to break through for his 3rd title on Prodigy today. Celebrating junior bowling, elevating junior bowlers. This is Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Live on tape from Brunswick Zone Roswell in Roswell, Georgia. This is Coach Randy, welcoming you to episode 69 of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Ooh la la. And in case the title bewilders you, it's because the kids are bowling on the pattern known as Paris. 47 feet, making it one of the longer oil patterns they'll face. But with a volume of under 22 milliliters of oil, they may not find some of their strongest equipment all that useful. We began the day with 18 kids, a dozen bigs and 6 littles. And it's time to light this candle. So we kick things off with the opening match in the littles division between Madison A-Line and Faith Roper. Faith, being the higher finisher, had the choice of starting lanes, and she has elected to lead off. And that one finishes a little wide. Now you're going to notice a bandage on Faith's left arm. We'll tell you about that injury as we take a look at the 1-2-4. This is what she left. And you just move your feet about 4 or 5 boards to the right, throw your strike ball over your strike target, and you should make the spare. And that's exactly what she does. So a spare to start for Faith. We'll take another look at that one. Right between the 2nd and 3rd arrows. And there you have it. A spare to begin. And now, our little freckled-faced darling, Madison. That one crosses over, and she's got a handful. 1-3-6. 8-10. Now this is a decidedly more difficult spare. Ideally, you'd want to shoot this down the left side of the lane with a straight ball and hit just on the Brooklyn side and hope that the ball doesn't deflect to the left of the 8. But she missed the 1 and plucks out just the 8 pin, and there's an open to begin and short count to boot. Well, Madison, one of the group of kids who comes over to bowl Prodigy from Cherokee Lanes in Canton, Georgia. This one, Brooklyn again, and once again she's got the 1-3-6 combination. She's just pulling her first shot a little bit. There, that's a better ball right there. That's where she wanted to put her first one. And a spare for Madison. Well, we mentioned this bandage on Faith's left arm. A couple of weeks ago, she actually was pulling some hot food out of the microwave and pulled it down on herself and suffered some pretty serious burns on her arm. As bad as that was, we're just glad she didn't spill it in her face or in her eyes or something. It's still healing, but is not keeping her from bowling. She whiffs the 6-10, so these two young girls exchange opens in the early going, and this match is back to even as we head to the third frame. There's a little better shot. Doesn't quite get up. Gets a piece of the head pin, but too thin to get the 2-pin to fall, and she's got the bucket. The 2-4-5-8, sometimes known as the dinner bucket. Put the ball on the right side of the 2-pin, let it drive through and carry out the sleeper 8. Oh, look out. Oh, she gets it on the backside. That's how you would shoot the 2-4-8-10 if you were trying to make it, but she gets a little lucky and gets the 5 as well. That is not how we recommend making the bucket, but watch this. Watch her reaction to it. She knows she got away with one. Now Madison. She's stuck at the line and leaves the baby split. Watch this. She's going to stick at the foul line. Turns around. She hates it. She turned around to her coach and said, "I fell." She didn't quite fall, but she almost did. 3-10, put the ball right between them. No, she gets it on the other side. Not how we coach it, but sometimes you get away with it that way. And there's a spare, and she'll take it. That's a better shot there. Comes up just a pinch high, leaves the 4. First couple of frames, she was just kind of coming over the top of the ball, and it was going left of target, but now she's got her swing back in order, and look out. Runs by the 4-pin on the right side. So another unforced error, and Faith, the beneficiary of that mistake, now with a 14-pin lead. My goodness. Faith goes through the nose and leaves a wide open split. The 6-7-10. She'll try to slide the 6 over into the 7. Not that way. Got to get that ball over on the right side of the 6-pin, and these kids are struggling early in this match. I think some of it is just pulling the ball down from the top. You've got to trust that that ball will fall. You've got to let gravity initiate the downswing. There's a better swing, although this one's going to be wide. She gets 8 out of it. Not quite what she wanted, but better than it could have been. And a fairly easy spare. Just move over to the right a couple of boards and throw your strike ball. And she gets the 1-2. Well, I mentioned that Madison had looked around and saw her coach. Not surprisingly, she gets some coaching from Doug O'Brien, Annalise's dad, who has quite a presence over at Cherokee Lanes. Little better swing that time, but it still was pulled left of target. And now she's got the tricky 3-9. Got to put the ball right on the face of the 3-pin, or if you're throwing a bit of a hook, slightly right of center of the 3, let the ball drive through and carry out the sleeper 9. Since the 3-pin is part of the pocket, you should be able to just move your feet 2 or 3 boards left of your strike position, throw it over your strike target. She just got it a little wide of the mark. So another open for Madison. That's 3 opens in 5 frames. Not what she had in mind, but she's still in it, as we're still looking for our first strike of this match. That was a better ball right there. It just deflected a bit. She throws a lighter ball, so naturally it's going to deflect some. And she covers the 8. That's more like it. So now Faith up on the right lane, leading by 9. And that looked like a pretty good shot until it crossed over. She says, "I got this, we're good." Well, when you wait until the 6th frame for your first strike of the match, you'll take them any way you can get them. Once more. Almost. This time it crosses over and leaves the 5-pin. Some would say the easiest spare there is. Pretty much throw a strike ball. You might want to move a board or 2 to the left and throw your strike ball. That's because the 5-pin sits a little bit behind the 1 and 3. The ball could hook by. But she covers the 5-pin easily. And now Madison. There's a better shot. Ooh, right in the pocket. But leaves the 10. She will go cross lane at it, moving to the extreme left. Throw it over about the 4th arrow, maybe the 3rd arrow. Well, that one hooks by. Let's talk to our leader.
So, Hunter, you're going to bowl the winner of this match.
Uh-huh.
Are you scared?
Nope.
Are you nervous?
Nope.
I mean, you're getting photobombed by Nick right now, you know that. So what kind of score do you think it's going to take to win?
I think I just have to cover my spares and hope that I get lucky. I just hope I can carry.
You got a score in mind?
169.
169? You think that'll do it?
Yep.
All right, well, good luck.
Thank you.
Well, he's got a score in mind, all right. Madison goes high, leaves the 3-6-10. She's going to have to get busy here in the closing frames to catch up to Faith. Unless Faith backs up, the way things are going, anything could happen. But that spare attempt goes wide, and Madison will fall further behind with that. And now Faith just has to pretty much stay in the building the rest of the way. Well, that's one way to get a strike. Right through the nose. The classic Jersey squasher, we call it. This goes right through the middle and pushes everything back. And this time she goes a little high once again and leaves the baby split. Well, Faith is going to learn, as all these little kids eventually have to generate a little bit more ball speed. Keep that ball on line. Too much 3-pin to cover the baby split. So her lead shrinks to 20. Well, here's the deal. Madison could strike out and shoot 158. That would force Faith to fill 20 in the 10th just to tie. But Madison doesn't get that first strike. Still, she's got a possible 148. That would at least force Faith to mark in the 10th. And we've seen that's not automatic today. How about it? Oh. The 10 remains, and with that, this match goes to Faith. Well, Madison was complaining about the approaches. She was having a hard time sliding during warm-up on this pair. So I think she may have entered the match with a bit of a negative mindset. And there's an open to finish the match, and she'll keep coming back. She'll keep trying. She is a cheerful little girl, I'll tell you that much. And she won't give up. Faith, to finish things out, leaves the 4-7. And covers it. So a possible 158 with all 10 on the fill ball. And Hunter steps into the picture just to let us know he's here. There's a better shot. Faith moved a little left that time. And she is moving on to the championship match. She and Madison exchange congratulations. And they've got their secret handshake, and I don't know what that is, but it's going to be Faith and Hunter. Faith looking for her first title on Prodigy. Hunter, an old hand at it. Hey, it's me, Coach Randy, with exciting news about a new way you can help support Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Over the past couple of years, we've had a number of Prodigy fans say they'd love to offer something in payment for the Prodigy content seen each week on YouTube throughout the bowling season. Well, I'm pleased to announce that Prodigy is now on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, in case you're not familiar with it, Patreon is a platform where YouTube content consumers like you can connect directly with YouTube content creators like me and pledge a small amount of money each month to support the work that goes into creating the content that you enjoy watching. It's based on the age-old concept of patrons. About 30 to 40 hours of work goes into the production of each and every episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. So if you enjoy the content on Prodigy Bowlers Tour each week and you'd like to support the show, please check it out at patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour. There are 4 affordable subscription tiers, and each one offers a different reward, up to and including sneak peeks of shows before they're released to the public, exclusive behind-the-scenes content that only members will ever see, and there's even a tier that will enable you to get all that and get your name in the credits each week as a producer of the show. You'll be helping me to be able to continue making the show each week and even reinvest some of the money into improving the show going forward. Thanks for checking it out, and thanks for supporting Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Here's how we got to the championship match in the Littles. We started with 6 Littles, and the same 3 that made the show were on top and in the same order after Game 1 of qualifying. Spiros got off to a slow start, and Rowan made an early bid to make the show. But in the second game, Spiros recovered and Rowan fell off a bit. But I have a feeling that it won't be long and you'll be seeing this little Rowan kid on the show. And when you do, you're gonna fall in love with him. The girls in our league already have. Meanwhile, Josh, who's just getting started bowling here recently, is still very early in his bowling journey, but he loves the game, and it won't surprise me one bit if he sneaks in and makes the show one of these days soon. He's got the passion for it, that's for sure. And in our opening match, I think Madison was having some problems with the approaches and may have been just a little nervous in her first appearance in a stepladder, but she'll be back. But we've reached the championship match in the Littles, and it's Faith who's looking for her first title on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, going up against Hunter, the winningest of all the Littles in Prodigy World. And Hunter, with the choice of starting lanes, has elected to lead off. I think he just wants to bowl, doesn't want to wait. Yikes. Could have waited for that, though. Through the nose and a 6-7-10 to start. It's a beautiful thing when you make it. Slide that 6 over into the 7. The ball will take out the 10 if all goes according to Hoyle. Well, he goes for it boldly, but sends it off into the channel, and that's 7 out. And short count to start. So Hunter with an open frame, and now it's all about Faith. And Faith goes through the nose and nearly had a 6-7 of her own. But she leaves just the 6, breaking up the split. And now she'll go cross alley at it. Oh, it looked pretty good, but it just hooked at the end. And they exchange opens out of the gate. Faith with a 2-pin lead, but that's pretty irrelevant at this stage of the match. It's an open. So she moves over to the left lane. Yikes. What's happening here? And she facetiously says, way to play. Well, she didn't lose any count. It wasn't on a spare or a double. So a spare here would be as good as 9 spare. But she only gets 8, so that's another open. And clearly not the start she had in mind. Well, that one hooks high and leaves the 3-pin, but We mentioned earlier about these kids generating ball speed. Hunter starts way back at the back of the approach and takes big, ginormous steps and gets that forward momentum as he nearly runs up to the foul line. And when you're little like that, that's probably the best way to do it. And he gets plenty of ball speed. And a spare in the second, so Hunter with a 10-pin lead early. He actually starts with his heels hanging off the edge of the approach. But that one comes up high again. He hasn't found the pocket yet. Breaks up a split this time. Watch his reaction. Gives it a little body English. And he hooks by the 6-10. And these kids who are usually pretty good with their spares, struggling today. So now Faith. I believe that was a ball change, and that one just never made it back. Now this oil pattern, 47 feet, this is how you make the 1, 2, 4, 7. This 47-foot oil pattern, you use the rule of 31. You subtract 31 from the length of the pattern. That leaves 16. 47 minus 31 is 16, which means you want the ball on about the 16 board as it exits the back end of the pattern. So at the 47-foot mark, you want the ball at about the 16th board. Faith is playing out around the second arrow, which is not going to get the ball around the 16th board unless she points it up, and she's not doing that. See, she's out around 10 at the arrows. And that time, actually missed her mark left a little bit, and the ball goes high. Let's watch it again in split screen so we can see her reaction. She's just glad she didn't leave a split. Well, this time she puts a little straight ball action on it, almost a backup that time, and gets that ball to hold line at the 6-pin, and that's a conversion. And Hunter's ball is just hooking a little too soon. Now that could be due to all the play that has taken place on this pair. We did not run this pair before the stepladder finals. So they've been bowled on with 2 games of qualifying. There were 6 players to a pair of lanes, so it's had 12 games bowled on it, plus the stepladder match you saw before this game. So there's been some play on this pair of lanes. It is surely time to move a little farther left. And that's exactly what he did there. And that's how you get rewarded. That was a good shot. Watch this again. Watch where he is at the arrows. Just inside the 3rd arrow, out to about 8 or 9 at the break point. A little wider than you need to be. But that's where a lot of the traffic was earlier. So that's where you're going to find that dry ball track. Faith is just too far outside. There's just nothing but oil out there to bring the ball back. And so it never gets into a roll. It just skids. And she's left the 1, 2, 4. Move your feet about 4 boards right, throw it over your strike target. Unfortunately, her strike target has her missing the pocket to the right. She needs to move left with her feet and with her eyes so that she's playing more toward the center of the lane. She'll figure it out. Well, she pulled that one left. She doesn't quite know what to make of it. She sends it to the right, and it stays out there. She pulls it a little left, and it hooks Brooklyn. The solution is to move everything left. That was a pretty good ball by Hunter. He needs to move another board, maybe 2. But that one got down lane a little farther before it started hooking compared to the last strike ball he threw on the right lane. So he's found the oil. He just needs to get in a little further. That's a good spare. So Hunter maintains a 14-pin lead as we head to the home stretch of this championship match. Now you watch Hunter's head. He never really looks down at the approach to see what board he's standing on. It's all feel for him. That's a great shot. Ringing 10. If we can get Hunter to start paying more attention to where he's standing on the approach and being really, there he looks down a little bit. I think he's looking at the ball though, not the approach. He could get dangerous. But a whiffed 9-pin, that's going to make this match a lot closer. And now Faith with a strike up. She can take the lead with another one here. Well, it's not how, it's how many. And that strike gives Faith the lead. Boy, that's the best ball she threw all match. Wasn't rewarded for it, though. A stone 7. This is how you leave a stone 7. Watch the 2-pin, the third one from the left. It'll go to the left wall and then reorient itself and miss the 7-pin in front. Frustrating when that happens. I think that is as much of a tap as the stone 8. But it's a spare for Faith. And now Hunter's got to put a double together if he wants to take the lead. He moved in a little bit more, but he's still hugging that pocket. Just a little too tight. Leaves the 4. He could have got a trip 4, but not this time. He's in the ballpark, though. He's found the oil line. That's a good spare. So, as it so often does, it comes down to who can perform in the 9th and 10th frames. Both players with a spare up in the 8th. It's all about how you finish. And once again, he goes through the nose. and leaves the same split he started with, a 6-7-10. It can be made, and if ever there was a time you'd want to go for it, now would be the time. Ooh. He made a good pass at it. But that's an open frame, and that hands a 21-10 lead to Faith in the 9th frame. And she gets a Brooklyn. So now the situation is this. Hunter can strike out for 158. Faith needs a mark of any kind. That's a good kind right there. A strike in the 10th, and that slams the door on Hunter. And he knows it. He just went up and gave her a handshake. Faith is our winner in the littles today. Her first time to the winner's circle on Prodigy. Well, you'd think that one could have gone, but it's going to be a 178 with a conversion here. Now she's got that backup ball working. It just falls off into the gutter, but a 177. And Hunter's prediction of 169 being enough to win would have come up a little short. Well, he finally moved in far enough. That was dead solid perfect right there. Watch this. Now he's in around the 4th arrow, out to about 10 at the break point, and goes high flush. And he's asking, where was this earlier? He just throws it one-handed now. Doesn't really matter. And he will close it out with a spare attempt on the 3-9. To get a final score, he throws a backup at it and makes the 3-9. That is a 148. And we will get a new signature on the coveted trophy pin next. And then we'll see the bigs.
It's not about makes or misses.
Solomon Solomon makes history today.
It's not about trophies or fame.
How about this young man?
It's about the people you meet and the memories you make.
You know, I think the social aspect of it is really what it means for me to be a bowler. You know, that sense of community that you get with other people that you bowl with.
And it's a wonderful thing about the sport. It brings you close to people beyond just kind of the bowling itself. And I would have never expected that.
Well, Hunter put up a brave fight, but even his prediction of 169 being enough to win proved a little short of the mark, as Faith rolled a 177 and Hunter just couldn't carry when he needed to. So Faith Roper breaks through for her first win on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. And you know what that means? We are about to get a new signature on the coveted trophy pin. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's your first time in the winner's circle.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Need to work on my spares.
Yeah, well, you made just enough of them. Well, you know what it means. You get to sign the coveted trophy pin, the coveted colorful trophy pin. And you get a bevy of colors from which to choose. All right. And then you put the date on it too. It's 9/8. So this is her first time signing the pin.
She's going with the multiple color look.
Wait, it's 9 dash what?
9/8/2018. So show us.
I messed up on my 9, but it's okay.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The latest winner. Congratulations.
So we move immediately to the Bigs division and our opening match between number 5 qualifier Nick Dischinger, the winner a week ago in the Bigs on Prodigy, and our number 4 qualifier Anthony Smiga, who's tasted victory on Prodigy before. These two strong two-handers have come over to bowl league with us here at Brunswick Zone Roswell this season after having bowled league at AMF Woodstock last year. They're teammates in our Roswell Varsity League, but they'll set that aside and try to beat each other's brains out in the next 15 minutes. Nick with the opening shot, puts it right in the hole, and a solid strike to begin. Take another look at it. You may notice something a little different about Nick today. We'll show you in just a bit. Here's Anthony. And that ball drifts high, and he's got the baby split to begin. The 310. We call it the baby split because the ball will touch both pins when it's made correctly. Hit the right side of the 3, let it deflect off into the 10. Too much 3-pin, and that's an open to start. Not what he had in mind. This young man just coming up on a year bowling. He's made a lot of progress in a short period of time. How's that one right there? Dead solid perfect. Well, Nick, who you've seen on the show a number of times, the winner 1 week ago in the Bigs division, trying to go back-to-back. That ball comes up a little thin, and he's got the 2-4-5. Now this one, we like to see players shoot down the left side of the lane. The cut down on the angle of chopping the 2 off the 5. But a lot of players like to throw their strike ball at it from the right side of the lane. Well, Nick actually played it correctly. He just missed. That was his spare ball. He was throwing it down the center of the lane the way we prefer. He just missed his target. And that spare ball's not going to hook. So they exchange opens, and Anthony takes the lead sitting on the bench. Light again. This time Nick breaks up the bucket and has a single pin spare to contend with. And it looks like once again he's going to go with his plastic ball and play this down the center or slightly down the left side of the lane. And he missed it again. Same shot. Well, some would argue on a spare like that you're better off throwing your strike ball. I like the spare ball approach, but you got to execute. High again for Anthony on the right lane. The tendency of lane 40 is to hook about 3 boards more than the left lane, lane 39. Doesn't really matter what pattern's out there. He covers the 610. And with that, maintains a 14-pin lead. Well, every once in a while, you got to let the horses out of the barn so they can run. And that one just headed out to the meadow. But he covers the spare quite easily. And now Nick. Trying to right the ship after back-to-back opens. Well, high on the head pin. Breaks up the 6-10, leaves just the 6. He's trying to throw the ball slow today on this 47-foot oil pattern. There's his plastic ball once again. This time he converts the spare, so he stops the bleeding at least. And now he'll move back over to the left lane. And he's right back in the pocket where he started the match. Watch this again. He's taking a 5-step approach today. In the past, when you've seen Nick, he's bowled with a 6-step approach. But he's moved up on the approach, shortened his steps, gone with 5 to try to slow down his ball speed. Anthony with a pretty good shot there, who's just fractionally high, and leaves the 4. Anthony's a big, strong guy. And if he has a flaw in his game, it's that he tends to muscle the ball. Oh my goodness. That's where a little extra speed would have come in handy. And that's why we don't like seeing him hook at spares. You'd think on a 47-foot oil pattern you wouldn't tend to hook by, but that's what just happened. And I don't know if he had that in his head and just threw it a little extra hard to keep it from hooking. But that one sails by, and he's got the fence, the 1, 2, 4, 7. Here's where a hook ball will come in handy. Put it on the left side of the head pin. Let the ball touch all 4 pins. Well, that'll do. It's a good conversion of a tricky spare. And so, we have an even match. Nick with a chance to take a 10-pin lead if he can strike here. See how much slower he's throwing it today? We'll take a look at his 2 approaches. One last week on the left with 6 steps. He starts with the right, ends with the left. Today, starts with the left, ends with the left. And you'll notice something else. No skip step today. He mentioned to me he's going with his Terrell Ingalls approach. Of course, Terrell a 4-stepper, but just the same, neither one of them using a skip step. So common among two-handers. Now that is solid in the hole right there, and Nick now with a turkey moves out ahead by 20. Watch this. No little hop in the approach. Slows him down. I like what he looks like throwing it this way. Well, Anthony making a slight adjustment on the lane, moved in, but maybe just a little too much. And just barely ticks the left side of the 2-pin to get the spare. Anthony trailing by 21 needs to get some strikes on the board right now. There's one. And that was a good one, the light shaker. Love those. Watch this. Right around the fourth arrow. Hits about 11 at the break point. And just gets in that light pocket. Well, that wasn't a bad shot by Nick. He just missed his mark, I think. Pulled it a little left of target. He'll move to the extreme left and go cross lane at the 610 with his plastic ball. Nick, a good little spare shooter. And he will take a 20-pin lead into the 9th and 10th. But Anthony, with a strike working, can cut the lead. Nick, if he can strike here in the 9th, can protect himself from being shut out. And he trips the 4. Gotta like that. If you're Nick anyway, watch this. Watch the 2-pin. That's the third one from the left. It will go to the left wall and slip between the 4 and 7 and trip out the 4. And once again, Anthony just a little high. He just can't buy one. Just can't buy a double. Here's the classic 4-pin lead. The 2-pin goes to the wall and tries to get the 4, but just misses it from behind. Almost got the 9 to fall forward into the 4. And I don't know what that was, but it's an open frame, and with that, he falls 32 pins in arrears, and now he's in dire straits. The best Anthony can do is 172. Nick's got 164 if he doesn't even show up for the 10th. There's one. But now he has no chance if he doesn't get the next one. His chances, frankly, are slim and none. But they are mathematically 0 if he doesn't get one here. Oh! Well, he keeps himself in it, technically. Watch this one. Go right through the nose. The 2-pin goes to the wall and comes back across and gets the 6 and 10. You don't see that one every day. Well, he gets 9, so that's a 171. Nick is going to need to just keep it in the middle of the lane. He just needs a handful of pins here. There's a winner. 7 will do it. And with that, Nick wins the first match in the bigs. He converts the 3-6-10. We've seen Nick run the stepladder on Prodigy before. He is not immune to making a run. We've seen him win all 4 matches. Last week he was the tournament leader in one. So he can win from just about any position. That one goes high, but it's a 191, a 20-pin victory. And Nick will advance to face Aiden Reynolds, who's making his first appearance on Prodigy, when we return right after this.
Give it up, you're falling. life passing you by? Get rolling. Go bowling. Shape up, slim down, wind up to wind down. There's room on weekends, also daytimes during the week. So live it up. Go bowling. Start this weekend.
A challenging match for both players, as Anthony was only able to produce 2 strikes, so Nick's turkey in the middle frames was enough to enable him to pull away. That 191 to 171 victory by Nick Dischinger sends him into match 2, where he'll face Aiden Reynolds. Aiden is making his first appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, as he's one of our new league bowlers this year at Brunswick Zone Roswell. He came over from Stars and Strikes in Cumming with his teammate and Prodigy regular Big Logan Mathis. In 2017-18, Aiden enjoyed one of the best U12 boys seasons on record among Georgia State USBC youth. He won both the Georgia State Pepsi Tournament and GYBT Tournament of Champions in the U12 boys division. He won the State Superlative Award for high average among U12 boys, registering the second highest average on record. And he's one of only 3 U12 boys in the state to have ever received a Superlative Award for high series of 700 or higher since they started posting records online in 2002. Over the summer, Aiden aged up into U15, so now he'll face somewhat stiffer competition. But those of us who've been following this young man the past few years are expecting big things from him. He has decided to let Nick start the match. And although Nick stuck at the line a little bit, he got that light shaker to go. Watch this. Little imbalance at the line, but gets enough of the pocket to shake him up. All right, Aiden Reynolds. Ooh. Well, a very simple game. Not a lot to go wrong here, although this time, not sure if he just misplayed the lane or missed his mark, but that was just a little high, and he's paid the maximum penalty, the 4-9. And not much chance of that going, putting the ball in between them, so an inauspicious start for the young man. Well, there were 4 players in Georgia who won their age division in both the Pepsi and the GYBT. You saw 2 of them on Prodigy. Peyton Smith in the U20 boys, Josh Collins in the U15 boys, which we showed on Prodigy. Aiden Reynolds did it. And last week you saw Erin Clemenche in the U12 girls. She did it as well. Those 4 players, the only 4, winning both the Pepsi and the GYBT Tournament of Champions. That is quite an accomplishment. And Nick sends it just a little wide. And this time it comes up light, and he's got trouble. The 2-10 split. Get the ball over on the left side of the 2 and try to throw that 2-pin over into the 10. It can be done. Just like that. Well, well. Watch this. Sends it right over the 4th arrow, it looked like. And that is perfectly done. Nice shot. And that'll bolster his confidence. Well, he goes back to that ball that he's been striking with on the left lane. He threw that purple ball. I think that's an idol that he threw on the right lane that didn't get up. It'll be interesting to see if he goes back to that ball on the right lane or if he sticks with this one. I think this is a haywire. There's a wall shot for Aiden, and he catches the first double of the match and makes this a close one. Let's take a closer look at his game. At address, you see he's got fairly level shoulders, but then watch at release. He's got a pretty heavy spine tilt. I got no problem at all with that. The ball's right below his head where you want it. But then once he gets it going, see how his trail foot kicks up? That kicks his spine angle way to the right, and sometimes he will get that foot in the air a little early. It'll get him off balance as he's releasing the ball, and that's what he's got to watch. But he throws a lot of shots like that right there. There's just not a lot to go wrong with his game. It's very simple, very repeatable. He and his dad have worked on his game, and he has come a long way in a short period of time. This kid just aged out of the U12. He's going to be a handful for a while. And what was that? Nick did stick with that purple ball, and I don't think that's the right ball for this lane pattern. Not every day you see a two-hander leave a stone 5. But that's what your eyes just witnessed. And then whiff it. Wow. Would never have expected Nick to do that. And honestly, when you're shooting the 5-pin, I don't know why you wouldn't throw your strike ball. Maybe move a board or two left, but just throw your strike ball over your strike target. No need to mess around with a plastic ball and a 5-pin. He's about got that left lane wired. That ball just finished a little late, weak 10, but still a good commercial shot. All right, let's right the ship, Nick. That's more like it. A conversion of the 10-pin, and it's back on Aiden. See if he can make it 4 in a row. See, now I'd like to see him start his approach with that spine tilt to the right so that he's got that right shoulder a little lower than his left like he does at release. Just start like that. Here's the 1-2-4 and how you make it. If he were to start like that, there'd be no need for his shoulder to drop at release, because what that does, it makes his head move. And when your head moves, it's hard to keep your eyes on the target. And when you can't keep your eyes on the target, it's hard to hit your target. And that's a stone solid strike there. Well, let's head down and meet Annalise.
Ladies and gentlemen, Annalise O'Brien getting photobombed by Faith.
I'm right here.
What is the best bowling tip you ever got?
Make my spares.
Okay. Besides that, we heard you say that before.
Elbow in, post a shot.
Elbow in?
Elbow in.
Okay, explain to our viewers what that means.
That means when you go to throw the ball, you don't need to be like this. That's out of bounds. So if your elbow's in, you're going to get more on the ball.
You're going to get more on the ball with the elbow in. That is good advice. Okay, well, you're coming up in this next match.
Yay!
This should be a cakewalk, except that today you're bowling the guys. You're not afraid of them, though, are you?
Nah.
Yeah, I kind of figured as much.
Yeah, I'm bowling the guys, but I'm bowling myself and the lane, so.
There you go. That's the way to think about it.
Tip of the day.
Good luck.
Thank you.
There's a whole lot of good advice all jam-packed in what Annalise had to say. Wow. Nick staying with that purple ball on the right lane, and this time he got it to overreact a bit. Well, Annalise talking about keeping the elbow in. When the elbow kicks out, it's what we call the chicken wing. You lose all your power. When you keep your elbow in, it also keeps your hand more behind the ball where you want it. Nick wired on that left lane. Finds the pocket, and now the lead is back within a mark. We'll watch him again here. He's moved into the fourth arrow. Ball only out to about 12 at the break point. And now Aiden. That one drifts just a little high. And he leaves the 4-7. Annalise also talked about posting the shot. That just means good balance at the line. Or as I sometimes refer to it, sticking the landing. Oh my goodness. Aiden missing the 4-7 on the right. Well, let's watch this again. See if we can pick out what's going on. Well, as you can see, it looks like his hips are already coming around to the right when that right leg kicks up, and that reorients his body to the right. And I think that may be what's causing him to miss to the right. His misses have been to the right so far this match, and that may be why. Keep that trail leg on the floor. Comes up thin, leaves the 2, makeable spare. That open frame in the 7th cost him the lead, with Nick working on a double. Can't afford any more mistakes now. Oh, my goodness. Another miss to the right. Well, I think he might have something to work on. At least he'll have some tape to look at. He's a smart player, and I know he and his dad will not let that continue. All right, Nick. Couple of strikes up. But again, this ball seems to either want to react too soon or too late. The 3-6-9, one of the more difficult non-washout, non-split spares there is. You've got to send the ball out to the right so that it can come in from an angle to carry out the back pin, but that increases the possibility of a chop. He gets it anyway. Well done. You have to risk chopping the 3 off the 6 to be able to carry out the 9. And he does it perfectly. That is just like you draw it up. This time the ball drifts high on the left lane. And he's got the 4-pin. He breaks up the split though. Fortunate to do that. You got to chase the oil line to the left. As you wear down the oil on the lane, you
create a little dry track on the lane, and you got to move just fractionally left to stay ahead of the transition. All right, Aiden with a possible 200. Nick going at a 194 pace. Stuff City right there. Aiden would like to throw a couple more of those here in the 10th. A lot of nice things happening in his game. Just a couple of things I might work on, but hard to argue with the results he's gotten. Oh! Man, that was close. But that is going to reduce his possible score to 180. And Nick will just need good count. All right, fill it up for 180. Well, that's well thrown, just a little high. 179. So Nick is going to need, well, let's see, 6 would get him, no, 6 won't do it. 7? No, 7 won't do it. He needs 8. 8 pins on this ball will shut out Aiden. And there it is. Just enough, and Nick didn't even bother trying to throw a strike ball. He just threw it straight down the middle of the lane. And he covers the spare, so with 8 or more, he will shoot 190 or better. Those 2 opens in the 7th and 8th did in Aiden. Other than that, he bowled pretty well. Oh my goodness, you do that 1 ball earlier and we're talking about a much different outcome here. But it's Nick who's moving on. He'll face Annalise O'Brien. The 2 winners from last week go at it next.
You don't have time to do the real thing. Download Bowling by Jason Belmonte, the most realistic bowling game ever made, on iOS and Android right now.
A couple of easy spares missed in the 7th and 8th frames by Aiden, and this match could have gone the other way. Although Nick missed an easy one of his own. It always seems to come down to spares in youth bowling matches contested on sport shots. That's why we coaches can't seem to stop preaching about spares. And now Nick is moving on to match 3 against the Junior Gold national champion among the U15 girls. Annalise O'Brien will tell you all about spares if you ask her, as making spares is the #1 thing her dad Doug preaches to her. I'd be shocked if Annalise gives away any easy ones in this match. Nick better bring it if he wants to get past Annalise. And Annalise has chosen to let Nick start the match. And he's Bowled well on this left lane. That's the one that hasn't given him near as much trouble as the right lane. Right over the fourth arrow, out to about 12 at the break point, and he stuffs it. So now Annalise, who will be playing in around the fourth arrow as well. And that one doesn't quite face up, and she leaves a soft 10 to start. Pretty good ball. Just didn't have quite enough angle to slap out the corner pin. We know about her regimen on spares. She will take extra care on every one of them. And that's what happens when you do. It helps to have a championship technique. She's well coached, well practiced, and she's got a lot of bowling smarts that comes from years of being around the game. Took a little speed off of that one, it looked to me like. Ball finished okay. Just got the ringing 10. Watch the 6-pin, the second one from the right. It'll fly up and around the neck of the 10-pin. The bowler's nemesis. If you're a right-hander, you will leave more 10-pins than any other spare you face. And she makes short work of it. So Nick with an early opportunity to take a lead. He's got a strike working. Can move out to an 11-pin lead if he can catch a double here. The psychology of match play. You got to jump on it when the opportunities present themselves. But instead he goes high, lucky to break up the split, leaves just the 6. Goes with his plastic ball and converts the spare. So just one pin separating these two early in this semifinal match. The winner will face Tristan Davis for the championship in the bigs. And that one seemed to jump early. He's had that left lane pretty much wired. I'm not sure if he took much speed off of it or if the ball just hooked earlier. But he takes care of the 3-6. So it'll be Annalise next to go on the right lane. Her dad, Doug, is here. You might notice her glance over his way, looking for, I don't know, moral support or perhaps a nod that she's doing the right thing. She's doing the right thing. No need to get that one validated. She knows. That was right over the third arrow. Ten back. A little farther inside on the left lane, out around 17, 18 at the arrows. That one doesn't quite make it back, leaves the 2-4-5. A little easier than the bucket without that back pin, the 8. She will go straight at it down the left side of the lane. And that's how it's done right there. You want to see how to make the 2-4-5? Watch this technique. You can't do it any better. She lays it down on the 21 board. That's just one board left of center. Look where it is at the arrows, the 21 board. Where is it at the pins? About the 21, maybe the 22 board. She removes all guesswork. A change of balls for Nick. I think he was sensing that the equipment he was throwing, he was not going to be able to get away with it much longer, and so he's made a ball change. This one will scoot down the lane a little farther before it makes its move. They're going to use it on the left lane as well. I can't quite tell. But whatever it is, that one worked. That looks like the ball he's been throwing on the left lane. Maybe just a slight move with his feet and his eyes. All right, Annalise up on the right lane. Well, that one got away from her. She looks like she slipped at the line, too. When you don't have your wheels, it's hard to play this game. I've often said bowling, like a lot of sports, is played from the waist down or from the ground up. Much is made of the arm swing and release and shoulder tilt and whatnot, but you got to have a solid foundation. She covers the single pin spare, no problem. Annalise still searching a bit. You get that sense she's just not quite locked in. That one comes up thin. She tried a couple of different balls in warm-up. Decided to go with this one. Here's the 2-8. Put the ball right on the face of the 2-pin. Go right back and get the 8. If you're right-handed, you can hit the right side of the 2 and let the ball drive through and get the back pin. But if you cross over the center axis of the 2-pin, you're in trouble. That's how it's done right there. So now Nick with an opportunity to run away and hide. With 2 strikes working, he can extend the lead to 22 here with a strike in the 6th. 32 if he can string strikes in the 6th and 7th. Well, let's take them one at a time. Nope. High. 3-pin. Strings of strikes have been rare today. And it looks like we have a blackout on 39 and 40, and I know exactly what has happened. As we have this pair of lanes on timed bowling, and it seems to mistakenly believe that our time is up. But it's not. We've still got about a match and a half left. Nick covers the 3. No problem. As he clings to an 11-pin lead. Nick won the Bigs division. Annalise won the Girls division last week in our Season 3 premiere show on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. I think it's the first time we've had winners from the previous week face one another on the show. Let's head down to the lanes and talk to our tournament leader.
Well, you get the winner of this match. What's going through your mind right now?
I'm seeing every shot from Nick on lane 40 just immediately turn right, but every shot Annalise has thrown has hit the pocket. So I'm like trying to go through my mind of how I should approach it.
So you split the difference and throw strikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Tristan may be overthinking things just a little bit. Just go down there and make quality shots. Let the chips fall where they may. Boy, Annalise found the line on that lane. Watch this one. She moved in a little bit. Close to the 4th arrow. And that was packed deep in the pocket. Watch her reaction. I would expect her to be close on that lane the rest of the way. Now, if she can find this lane, well, look at this. The guy from behind the pin setters just walks out just as a player is about to get up. They really should look first, see if somebody's about to bowl, but they don't think about it. There you go. And now we've got us a 1-pin match. Watch Annalise find the line on the left. She's urging it to get up. She likes it. And yes, game on now. Nick's definitely found the right ball to throw on the right lane. So he extends the lead back out to 11 with that strike. And now which ball is he going to go with? He goes with the other one, the haywire. Going with a stronger ball on 39. And a ball that will scoot down the lane farther on the right lane, lane 40. That's probably the right combination. Oh, but it overhooks on the left lane, and he gets away with one. A big Brooklyn strike, but they all count. And that extends his lead to 21. That could prove pivotal by the end of the game. Have to wait and see, but Annalise got her work cut out for her now, thanks to that lucky strike by Nick. He had an 11-pin lead. If he hadn't struck there, it would have fallen to 10 or less. Annalise could have evened the match with this strike. As it is, she needs this to stay within 11. And she gets it. We'll take a second look at it. This time she hits about 17 at the arrows, out to about 11 at the break point, and see you later. Did she like it? I'd say so. She's like, let's go. 10th frame. This strike would cut the lead to 1 pin. Oh, and she trips the 4. Man, that ball looked like it was slowing down a little too soon. Watch it in split screen. She likes it when she lets it go, but then it starts to hook a little, crowding the pocket. But she gets the 4 to go late. So now, one more strike and she takes the lead. If she can catch this one and fill up the fill ball, she'll force Nick to strike twice to beat her. Oh, it got away. And you hear her dad say, "What are you doing?" Well, I know she didn't do it on purpose. Just missed a little right. Maybe didn't quite catch it all at the bottom either. But in any case, it's an 8 count. She will probably just take 1 pin here to take the count rather than risk losing both pins and count. There you go. Just take the 1. So that's a 223. So Nick with a 4-pin lead. He's got to fill 17 to win by 1. Now remember, he's working on a double, so the first ball is just as important as the fill ball, should he mark. If he would happen to get 5 on this shot, he would lose. But if he would happen to get a strike on the first ball, that'll make his job a whole lot easier. How about this one for clutch? Oh, that is perfect. That is just perfect. And now he just needs, what, 4 pins? That's enough right there. And Nick has won the match, and he will advance to the championship against Tristan. I know Annalise is disappointed, and they'll probably say that was a lucky strike he got in the 9th, and it was. But they both made clutch shots when they needed them. And it's Nick who will face Tristan in the championship match next. Hey, it's me, Coach Randy, with exciting news about a new way you can help support Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Over the past couple of years, we've had a number of Prodigy fans say they'd love to offer something in payment for the Prodigy content seen each week on YouTube throughout the bowling season. Well, I'm pleased to announce that Prodigy is now on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, in case you're not familiar with it,
Patreon is a platform where YouTube content consumers like you can connect directly with YouTube content creators like me and pledge a small amount of money each month to support the work that goes into creating the content that you enjoy watching. It's based on the age-old concept of patrons. About 30 to 40 hours of work goes into the production of each and every episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. So if you enjoy the content on Prodigy Bowlers Tour each week and you'd like to support the show, please check it out at patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour. There are 4 affordable subscription tiers, and each one offers a different reward, up to and including sneak peeks of shows before they're released to the public, exclusive behind-the-scenes content that only members will ever see, and there's even a tier that will enable you to get all that and get your name in the credits each week as a producer of the show. You'll be helping me to be able to continue making the show each week and even reinvest some of the money into improving the show going forward. Thanks for checking it out, and thanks for supporting Prodigy Bowlers Tour.
So, how did we get to the championship match in the bigs? Well, we started with a dozen kids, a mixture of boys and girls, and just like with the littles, they bowled 2 games of qualifying. After game 1, the top 4 was the same group we had after 2 games. But Nick started slow with a 146, while Christian made an early bid to sneak into the top 5. But after 2 games, Nick made a charge with a 192 game, while Christian stayed steady with another game in the 160s, which was not enough. A couple of new kids to our league, Brandon Caravite and AJ Hairston. Brandon's a big fan of Prodigy and bowling in league for the first time. AJ moved over from AMF American Lanes all the way over in Conyers to come bowl with us this season, and we're thrilled to have him. This little guy's got some game, and while he didn't bowl the way he'd hoped this week, I'm sure you're going to be seeing him on Prodigy sometime soon. And now, after 3 matches of stepladder competition, Nick Dishinger has climbed the ladder and finds himself in a familiar position. He bowled for the title last week and won, and here he is again. This time he's facing Tristan Davis, Mr. Consistency on Prodigy, who's got to be figuring he's due to win. Tristan seems to make the show almost every week, and yet he's only won twice. He wants to make it 3 today. He's already made the decision to let Nick start, which means that Nick will have started every single match in the stepladder. This time Nick goes high and leaves the 610 to start. Well, he's still using that stronger ball on this left lane. He's going to have to keep chasing the oil line left. If he wants to keep using it, he may end up going to that weaker ball on the left lane as well. He's throwing his plastic ball at the spare. And he converts the 610 without a problem. So now, steady Eddie, Tristan Davis. He's become a fixture on Prodigy. But rarely does he get off to a quick start. That'll help. He's so good in the qualifying rounds. It's kind of a shame that you guys haven't seen him really bowl up to his ability on the show. And none of us seem to know why. But he just labeled that one. He is quite capable. And there's another one. So he does get off to a quick start this time. A double out of the gate. And an early lead. You notice he has shed the Terminator wrist guard, the wrist brace that he wore for much of last season. Well, and now even the weaker ball is starting to hook early for Nick on that right lane. He's just going to have to move left. There's oil if you keep moving left. But you got to stay ahead of the transition. You can't let it catch you. There's a spare at the 6 pin. Nick has impressed me. Since the first time I saw him bowl on Prodigy, which was the first time I saw him bowl, he has been a good little player, good in the clutch. And he keeps producing shots like that. Last time he was up on the left lane and went high, he makes the adjustment, moves a little deeper, and 10 in the pit. See if Tristan can keep up this string. Well, he told me that he didn't have a lot of confidence on this long oil pattern. He felt like a stroker has a better chance on a medium or short oil pattern, and he was a little concerned about his chances on the long oil pattern, but he bowled great in qualifying. And he begins with a turkey here in the championship match. That ball drifts just a little high. Well, we mentioned when we described this pattern that although it's long oil, it's relatively low volume, which basically means the shot's going to change. With all these balls being thrown, they're going to wear out a track in the lane, and you're going to have to keep moving left to stay ahead of it. And we have seen that again and again. And Tristan just gets the 4-7, but a spare nonetheless. And so now Nick will go to work with a strike up in the third. He can cut the lead back down to within a mark if he can strike here in the fourth. But 9 and a wiggle is all he's going to get here. He breaks down the 2-4-5, and the 5 remains, and it's still just kind of laughing at him down there. And he missed a 5-pin earlier when he used his plastic ball. He goes with his strike ball this time, though. And sends it well wide and misses it again. Both times on the right. Wow. You don't see him.
We interrupt this program with an important breaking news bulletin. Reports are filtering into the Prodigy news desk that a tragic car accident involving Prodigy Bowlers Tour player Spiros Schenk and his mom in the southern portion of the Atlanta metro area has claimed the life of Bambi, whose body parts were reported to have, quote, gone flying everywhere, unquote. Both riders in the late model BMW SUV are said to be resting comfortably at home and are no worse for the wear. The BMW is now in the collision repair shop and should be as good as new soon. But Bambi, not so much. So that's all we have, as details are sketchy at this hour. No word yet on whether the governor has declared a state of emergency or if members of Bambi's family are planning an act of retribution. Early reports suggest they've displayed a deer in the headlights look, but PBT News cannot confirm this. Repeating our top story this hour, Spiros and his mom are perfectly fine, and somewhere in Noonan, Georgia this weekend, there's free venison for everyone. Film at 11. We now return you to our regularly scheduled programming, already in progress.
Not much you can do with it, just take the count. But now Nick has dug himself quite a hole. 41 pins in arrears with just 4 frames left. He needs to go to the whip. But instead, he sends it into the weeds. Well, you keep moving left. At some point, you got to be careful and not send it wide. As you move your feet left, you got to move your target left as well. 1, 2, 4, 8. Just put the ball on the 1 and 2. You should get the back pin. Well, now there's something you don't see every day. But now the lead is 52, and well, this is what Tristan has been licking his chops, waiting to see. A clear path to a victory on Prodigy. Now, if he can just close the door. Well, you're not going to do it with shots like that. Ball hooks high. He leaves the 3-10 baby split. We've seen this a time or two today. He put the ball on the right side of the 3. Let the ball deflect over into the 10. We saw at least one player make it on the left side of the 3-pin today. It can be done both ways, but we recommend taking out both pins with the ball. Well, and throwing it straight the way Tristan did is the ideal way to do it. He just missed a little to the right. So an open frame. Fortunately, he had pins to burn, but you don't want to keep doing that with 3 frames left. The lead is 39. But Nick appears lost. That's the way you do it right there. So Tristan back in the pocket, and another solid strike. We'll watch it again. Gets that ball behind his back a little more than I'd like to see, but I'll tell you the thing about Tristan that makes him dangerous, if he ever gets his confidence up, that loosey-goosey arm swing will hold up under pressure. And another 3-10. Well, we're going to keep leaving this until somebody makes it the right way. Maybe. How about it? Nope. Wide again. So another open frame, and the lead is back to 50. And Nick, I think, is just wanting to get this over with. 3 opens in a row, 4 opens in the last 5 frames. Talk about hitting a wall. And once again, the ball hooks early and high. He will grab his plastic spare ball and try to get the 6-10. But his chances look pretty bleak. Well, they look even bleaker now as that chop of the 6'10" puts the victory in Tristan's column. That did it right there. Tristan has won the Ooh La La Championship on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. That's win number 3 for the young man. And he did it with a bunch of shots like that early in the match. And a couple here at the end. Not a lot of hook. You don't have to hook the ball. You just got to get it into a good roll in the last 10 feet of the lane. And look at what he does. That's how it's done, boys and girls. I'm telling you, this kid can bowl. Sometimes he hasn't shown it on the show, but he does it again and again in qualifying. And now I guess we're going to get a trick shot with Tristan. The 4-9, completely irrelevant to the outcome of this match. He can throw it in the gutter and he's still got it won. But he'll try to put on a show for us. Or just take the count and get it over with. In any case, a 199. And now Nick will just go through the motions of filling out the 10th frame. We bring you every shot on Prodigy. We don't cut away to commercial when there's bowling left to be done. Not usually, anyway. And he's just goofing around now. Lofting the gutter, leaving the washout. All right, he's calling for trick shots with Nick. Again, try to make one right here. Give us a crowd pleaser to go out on. Well, he gave it a good ride. But it's going to be a 199 to 131 win. Tristan Davis has won on Prodigy Bowlers Tour for the 3rd time. We'll get him to sign the pin next.
Hey, why don't you let loose? Let loose. Go bowling, bowling this weekend. Have fun. Go bowling, bowling this weekend.
Let loose at Valley Bowl. Take the Valley Highway or Academy exit to security.
Well, there you go. Another Prodigy Bowlers Tour event is in the books. And this time, the guy who keeps showing up showed out. Tristan got off to a fast start in his title match and kept the heat on Nick, who seemed to just run out of gas. Nick bowled well for 3 matches, but his attempt to go back-to-back came up 1 game short. So, it's Tristan Davis who is next to put his name on the coveted, colorful trophy pin.
From a choice of many colors, Tristan goes with red and blue to sign
most basic
the colorful, coveted trophy pin. This is your 3rd win, am I correct?
Yeah.
And he's pulling a Spiros on us. He's going with a different color for each letter. The man who's on the show almost every week finds his way to the winner's circle on September 8th. Are you done?
I didn't know the date.
Oh yeah, well, nobody ever knows the date. Show it to us. He goes with the Spiros treatment. We like it. Congratulations.